just like that, Kathy Engelbert, the WNBA, the team owners, the Players Association, in the split of an instance, all of it can change. In a split instance, all of it can change. If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
Fans would cheer like it was a middle school game if the WNBA roughed up Caitlin Clark every night, but after Clark was body checked like it was Game 7 of the NBA Finals, the fans aren't just upset, they're boycotting like it's Black Friday, and the officials took away their coupons. Buckle up, for this story is just getting started as fans want respect for their MVP and a fair game. The league wanted greater physicality, but now it's facing a full-out protest. Who knew that advocating for harder play would backfire, hurting ticket sales and morale?
It was just announced that Caitlin Clark will be out a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad injury. Could this injury have been prevented? Can the Indiana Fever win without her? And what does this mean for the WNBA?
The NBA had high hopes for this season, with ratings rising, jerseys flying off the shelves, and Fever games drawing Taylor Swift-sized crowds. However, just when everything seemed to be going well, Caitlin Clark's quad injury changed everything. And now that she is out, fans are upset and social media is raging with frustration behind closed doors. It's obvious that this season's drama is far from over and that the NBA's calm has officially been broken as league officials struggle to control the chaos while maintaining a brave front. The excitement has given way to worry as the season's momentum stalls and speculation about Clark's recovery and the league's future rages.
Get in the back. We know Caitlin Clark was lost yesterday to an injury for at least 2 weeks. Now, the thing about it is they're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. And of course, man, these teams, I told you earlier, these WNBA franchises that moved games like the Chicago Sky to the, United Arena, you're screwed. You're done. You're cooked. Nobody is going to show up to this thing. Chicago Sky can't sell out their own 9,000 something seat arena like it is. They couldn't when they were kind of decent.
Arcs missed 2 weeks due to a tight quadriceps. There was no tear or fracture, but it was enough to cause turmoil in the league. As the WNBA desperately tries to keep the spotlight shining, her thigh essentially took a vacation, leaving the team's star player on the sidelines. The reactions, let's just say, have been anything but subtle. In fact, they've sparked full-blown public meltdowns, with players and fans expressing their frustrations and worries about the league's momentum and Clark's recovery. Everyone is keenly watching to see how the WNBA responds to this sudden setback, and it's a stressful moment.
Oh my God, guys, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is hurt. I didn't believe it when I saw it myself. She's injured. She has a quad injury, a left quad injury. It's a quadriceps strain, and the team announced today, about 2 hours ago, she's going to be out 2 weeks at the minimum. 2 weeks. Without Caitlin Clark, this team is finished.
Since Michael Jordan's time, Clark's ardent followers, possibly the most ardent merchandise-obsessed Twitter lock supporters, are already putting on tearful demonstrations. They've turned a slight injury into what seems like a full-fledged revolution. Tweets scream, "I'm done watching until Clark returns. This league isn't worth it without her," and boycott the WNBA. While other players are out there saying, "Hey, we're still here," these fans are behaving as though the league has personally insulted their family or taken their pets. However, the internet community replies icily, "Not now, sweetie." The controversy over Clark's absence has sparked a flurry of responses.
If it's the latter, it could mean that Caitlin Clark could potentially miss the rest of the season. This 2-week timetable that people are running with, that's just when Caitlin Clark is going to be reevaluated. As of now, she will be reevaluated on June 9th. That does not mean, and it's highly unlikely, that June 9th or shortly thereafter is when Caitlin Clark is cleared to return.
And Indiana are unexpectedly experiencing life without their celebrity Caitlin Clark. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell are trying to keep the franchise afloat with sheer grit and determination after the Caitlin Clark show temporarily went off the air. Mitchell is playing like she's got 3 lungs pushing through exhaustion, while Boston is rebounding like she's fighting ghosts. And coach Stephanie White is making last-minute changes to game plans, almost as if she's in the Hunger Games. Surprisingly, the Fever might just stay competitive because their upcoming opponents have been as intimidating as lukewarm soup. No offense intended, Chicago Sky. Even without their superstar, Indiana's tenacity could surprise us all in the upcoming weeks.
There's no way every team's going to come at them and try to take them out, especially without Caitlin. They're going to lose some games here, and that's going to set them back. It's really hard to believe this, but yeah, she's out. There's no other details. When did this happen? Could have happened in this game. We're not sure. Most likely at a practice yesterday. She's out for 2 weeks, man.
To be honest, seeing the league try to maintain the appearance that everything is going as usual while the show's star, Caitlin Clark, has been benched prior to her injury is more fascinating than the scoreboard, highlight reels, or even the actual game. Clark wasn't merely a candidate for MVP, she was the winner. Some attempted to minimize her throughout the story, saying she was only good for a rookie, but that would be like saying Beyonce is only a singer. Clark was doing more than just putting up great numbers. She was acting as a one-woman rescue mission, bringing her franchise back into the spotlight. Fans in the nosebleed wearing homemade glitter-infused jerseys, sold-out arenas, celebrity shout-outs, and her presence surged. Not only did she create enthusiasm, but she also completely redesigned the league's algorithm, resulting in record-breaking viewership. The league wants us to think that the MVP race is open to the public, as if the rest of the league wasn't orbiting her gravitational pull just a few days ago. This is a cute attempt, but we all know the truth. Arenas are finally packed, merchandise is flying off shelves faster than Taylor Swift tickets, and the Queen is now momentarily off the court.
Breaking WNBA news. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks with a quad strain, and our next question is, what does this mean for the Fever? So Cece is going to be missing the second Sky rematch since playing them the first weekend of the season, which is definitely a bummer, but on the bright side, this injury doesn't seem too bad. It's just some quad tightness. But fear not, Fever fans. We talked to Caitlin earlier this month, and she doesn't seem too worried about the depth of this roster.
So I think our depth is probably what I would worry about the most. You know, if somebody doesn't have it one night, you're just going to the next person on the bench and the next person, and you know, we're going to have to be able to find a way to use that to the best of our ability.
Caitlin seems like she has faith in her team, but we will see how this squad performs on the court without their number 1 player.
When Clark returns, rested, refocused, and tired of the noise, she will be ready to make a statement. Imagine her storming back onto the court, sinking threes from downtown, and shutting up every doubter who questioned her after her rehab stint. That's not just a comeback, it's an electrifying encore. Meanwhile, back in Indiana, the Fever is quietly adjusting and might even come out stronger without Clark doing everything herself. Her teammates are stepping up and showing their true potential. The Fever might become a dark horse with momentum on their side if they can get through this difficult time, remain competitive, and pick up a few surprising victories. With Clark healthy, Boston assured, and Mitchell energized, they'll be a real playoff threat. Although Caitlin Clark is currently on the sidelines, the league isn't slowing down. In fact, it's only becoming louder as more tales are added. MVP, drama, the intense fan rivalries, conspiracy theories, and eventual homecoming tour of rising talents. Clark's absence has created a fresh surge of excitement and expectation that has fans on the edge of their seats, and the WNBA's energy is just growing even without her on the court.
Just as I started talking about Caitlin Clark being in the MVP race, it is announced that she suffered a left quad injury and she is going to miss at least 2 weeks. And this is such a bummer because the Fever were off to a great start this season. Caitlin Clark was playing out of her mind. She had already broken some records in the first 3 games, and now she's going to be sidelined for 2 weeks. We'll see how the team will hold up without her. Obviously, she's the primary ball handler, playmaker, and shot maker. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can sustain and just hold even at 500 or better, and she can get back and keep them in playoff contention.
To all the fans who are boycotting the league until Caitlin Clark returns, here's a reality check. Without her watching, the NBA feels like tuning in after the main act has already left the stage. Sure, the league is full of talented players, but without his star power, the excitement, energy, and buzz seem to evaporate. The games feel a little flatter, the atmosphere is a little duller, and the drama is, well, lukewarm at best. The league isn't reinventing itself. Instead, it's just trying to survive without its biggest draw. When Clark returns, it won't be just basketball. It will be the event and show that everyone has been waiting for. And we're currently caught in a strange paradox where the games are technically smoother, more polished, and less chaotic, but nobody is actually watching. No viral fouls, no contentious arguments about dubious calls, no dramatic headlines without Clark being humiliated or having highlight reel plays. Every game, the conversation has subsided, and that's what's really troubling for the league controversy. Because despite the league's best efforts to promote basketball brilliance, the numbers increased when Clark took a hard hit because chaos makes for good headlines. They exploded when she was fouled hard rather than when players made flawless plays. The WNBA has profited from the chaos spectacle, and now that their chaos engine is on hold, they are anxiously examining the stat sheets as if they were credit card bills. And let's not forget the merchandise somewhere in a warehouse where Caitlin Clark's jerseys are sitting untouched and collecting dust like a reminder of the hype that once exploded when she hobbled off the court, leaving the league and its marketers scrambling. Her 12-game absence is nearly like an eclipse, rare and extremely inconvenient for ticket sales and viewership. Without her, the league runs the risk of losing more than just points. It risks losing its pulse.
Turns out she's human after all, Dan. She's going to be out for at least a couple of weeks, it appears.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about Caitlin Clark? Remember last year, she played in the Final Four. Right after that, she went immediately to the WNBA. Draft came, season started, and, didn't miss a beat. And all of a sudden, she got a little rest and comes back, gets a little banged up.
Fans are now acting out like kids who have been given the incorrect Happy Meal toy, and entire comment sections are filled with "she should have gone to Europe" screams and other such outbursts because, of course, that's the sensible way to deal with being injured. She should have gone to Europe, but let's talk about this. Apparently, the quad muscle heals faster when you're dunking on Lithuanian 19-year-olds for $5,000 a week. Genius. Pack your bags and leave the continent. First of all, yes, the pay is frequently higher abroad because oligarchs don't care about salary caps. Secondly, while European basketball fans treat their queens like royalty, Clark didn't come to the NBA for solace. Rather, she came to take control. Taking control is difficult when half the league treats you like a piñata and the other half acts as though they aren't fascinated by your every move. Speaking of obsession, let's take a moment to silence the Caitlin Clark haters, who were just beginning to perfect their hate watch routines. The breathless, who is overrated, takes a bookmark and is prepared, but there is currently no radio silence. It's difficult to dislike seeing someone who isn't performing. They resemble sitcom villains who abruptly lost their main actress and are seen meandering around with too many thoughts and too much time.
Big news just released by the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark has suffered a quad injury, and she's going to be out for a minimum of 2 weeks. Really bad news for people going to games at home hoping to see Caitlin.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is stealing the show. She's trash-talking, transforming post-game press conferences into TED Talks about media bias, haters, and doubters. And the best part is that it's working. The drama is delicious. And every time Reese wears a high-end outfit and pulls down 15 rebounds, she's promoting her brand. Remember that the main event was meant to be the rematch and Clark Ree was supposed to be the game of the week. Fever vs. the ratings. Bonanza for Caitlin vs. Angel. Now, it's more like watching two up-and-coming teams try not to trip over each other's missed layups, but let's zoom out a little. Everyone was swooning over it, but now it's like going to WrestleMania and learning that The Rock stayed home. Sure, the show goes on, but it doesn't hit the same. And don't think the league's marketing team didn't cry into their conference call when they had to scrap all those Clash of Titans promos. Caitlin Clark, because it forces the league to demonstrate that it has multiple stars, fans to meet players they haven't seen, acknowledge greatness that isn't trending on TikTok, and realize that Clark is just the start of a movement rather than the entire movement. Getting hurt might actually be the best thing that has ever happened to the NBA.
Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA. There was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will.
We're seeing in real time the Angel Reese psychological meltdown as she's actually being forced to grasp the fact that the thing that she is best at in her life, which is basketball, Caitlin Clark is exponentially better at than she is.
The league is now showcasing depth talent and actual team identity, and when Clark returns, you can bet that the Fever will reach a new high. If anything, this break is fueling the fire, because when she returns, it won't just be a moment, it will be an event, a resurrection, a statement, and every player who undervalued her while she was sidelined better hope she doesn't return with revenge threes. Suddenly, we're seeing clips of Kalaya Copper lighting it up for the Mercury. People are remembering that Brianna Stewart is still a walking bucket, and players like Durkita Hammy are finally receiving flowers for consistent play that never goes viral. Done treat. Dripping from the sky, the fans who tapped out as soon as she announced Kyr's injury missed the league's evolution in real time. The rise of Kyr, and the chance to see a league finally be forced to grow beyond its most well-known name. That's the kind of missed opportunity you can't just rewatch on ESPN+. The true losers here aren't the fans, the Fever, or even Clark. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, the WNBA just made it through a week without Caitlin Clark. It also adapted, and in a few more games, it will be put to the test again, because when she returns, there won't be any excuses, no rookie gloom period, no adjusting to pro play, just 40 minutes of her trying to make up for lost time, torch nets, and silence all the critics who believed her injury was the end of the ride.